Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. Yes, this is the Flagstick Podcast presented by Taylormade Golf Canada, introducing stealth with carbon face for better energy transfer and more ball speed. Welcome to the Carbon Wood Age. For more information or to learn more, visit taylormadegolf.ca. Yes, I am one of your hosts, Jeff Potter, and with me, as always, is my good friend Scott McLeod.
How you doing, bud?
Oh, I am awesome. I just love cold weather, don't you? I like
it.
It's so dreary and chilly. I'm literally wearing shorts and a golf shirt to do this, but I got the vest on. The heat's turned up in the house right now.
Air
there's no AC rocking.
Yeah.
The AC is not rocking today. I'm going to guarantee you that. But I guess this is what we do, right? It's spring. Technically, it's still Canada. Spring. It's not deep summer here. We're not supposed to be getting the 30-degree weather that we were blessed with last week at the end of the week. But tomorrow bounce back 20 degrees. Hopefully we get some good week weather for this weekend.
It gives everybody something to talk about. I mean, everybody always talks about the weather, but you're right. It was pretty hot on the weekend. Cooled off today, and I know they've had some cool weather out west here in Canada as well, but you're right. As long as it's somewhat decent for this weekend for the Flagstick Open presented by Taylormade and Adidas, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in the front nine.
Shameless plug.
Hopefully it is good. That's for sure.
Is it a shameless plug though? Is it really?
No, it's not.
I hear that all the time. The guys on radio, you talk about, their shameless plug for their.
What's shameless about it?
There's nothing shameless about it. Taylormade and Adidas are huge supporters of the Flagstick Open. Taylormade's the sponsor of this podcast. It's not shameless. They deserve the plug.
Yeah, 100%.
Now listen, before we even got on air, you said that there was somebody in your garage hitting balls. Like, first of all, you kind of have to take someone's in your garage hitting balls. You have a simulator in your garage, you do some teaching in your garage, but what do you mean someone's in your garage hitting balls? And you said it was a former Flagstick Open champion.
Yeah, so the weather's obviously a little cool today, but the driving range is closed over at Cataraqui this morning, and a certain Noah Steele, the two-time Flagstick Open champion, is home. He just came home from Ecuador midweek last week. He's home for about 11 days or so. Wanted to hit some eggs. Sent me a text this morning, said, "Hey, can I come hit some balls?" So while we're doing this podcast and talking about the Flagstick Open,
oh my gosh,
PGA Tour Latino America, PGA Tour Canada player, and PGA Tour Canada winner is hitting balls about 35 feet from here. So
you should have set up a second mic and had him cozy up next to you, shoulder to shoulder there to do a segment with us. He's right there. I mean, come on.
He is. Yeah. So it's just kind of funny, but he's he knows what we're up to here, and he actually joked that hey, can I play in the division this weekend for the Flagstick Open or whatever? And it was like, he wants to be that first 3-time winner, but unfortunately no.
You'd have to get his amateur status back, and first of all, I don't think they could get it back that quickly.
No, and so just nice to have him back in town and working away, and just happens to be nearby.
Well, there you go. What else went on this weekend, Scott? I know I didn't play.
Yeah,
I keep saying I'm going to, and I don't think, I can't keep making excuses that things keep coming up, but things do keep coming up.
Yeah,
it was honestly, it was a really busy weekend, despite not being able to play any golf. Did you play some golf? Did you get
No,
out?
Actually, I did not. I played at the end of the week, and then I melted on the teaching tee on Saturday. Obviously, there's a number of players that I work with that are getting ready to play in the Flagstick Open. So first full day, kind of on a weekend to go out and do some teaching. And yeah, it was 30 plus. Had the tent out there. Let's just say anybody that was golfing on Saturday in our neck of the woods that maybe didn't have enough water or sunscreen or a large hat or whatever.
Dummies.
Wow. Yeah, it was a tough go. I mean, it was nice to have the heat for sure. But yeah, it was definitely by the end of the day. I mean, I had some ambition that maybe by the end of the day, oh, maybe I'll go play 9 holes after. No, I
Yeah.
was whipped. I was whipped by afterwards. So, but it's great to see. It's nice to see everybody out enjoying the game. A lot of opening day tournaments, and there was one going on there at Amherst down in Kingston, and it was actually Brennan Smith, who's our again. We'll go back to Flagstick, the defending champion. He won the opening day down there in I think in a 5-hole playoff. So yeah, so cool. So hopefully we get out soon. I know you've got some new gear. We don't have to say what it is.
Yeah,
maybe
we won't get it. I will share everything about my new gear in an upcoming episode. I'll share some pictures on social because I haven't had new gear in quite a while. Like really new gear. I've had Don Irving at Artisan Golf built me a set of golf clubs. I think we're going back 5 years now.
Yeah.
And I love them. They're great clubs and everything. I just thought, it's been 5 years. Let's try something a little more modern, a little newer, and let's try a different. Let's go off and try a different brand, something. So we'll share that another time.
So what do we got going on this week?
We got a good show.
Episode 8 here.
It's getting episode 8. It's funny.
Backs up quickly.
Yes, it does. We have an awesome show, as always. I'm going to say that every week because every show is awesome.
We're going to have to get you a new synonym, something else to say.
We have a fantastic, we have a great, we have an exciting, we have a plethora of stuff to get through.
Yeah,
I love that.
Plethora.
We got some great discussions coming up on the front 9 on this episode. Some stories to share that are a little bit more regional than national this time. Some other Canadian golf stories. We're going to share some thoughts and that's on the front 9. On the back 9, we're going to share some thoughts about some of our favorite courses, and what makes them our favorite courses, unique things about them that set them apart from some of the other courses that we've played. And Kevin Haime is going to be with us on the lesson tee as always, talking about our starting position. So you know what? Let's get to the front 9. Mr. McLeod, and let's talk about Gord Percy. Gord is somebody. Now, you've known Gord much longer than I have, known Gord for very, very long time. Back in the days of Rivendell Golf Club, when I believe, I'm not sure I think he shot 60. Did he not?
He did.
He shot 60 at Rivendell Golf Club.
11 under. I mean, it's as
an amateur, not a pro.
First, we should probably thank our sponsor for the 9, though. The front 9 this week.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry. Yes, the front 9.
I know you're excited.
The front 9 is brought to you by our good friends at Metcalfe Golf Club. A natural setting, a pleasant challenge. If you're looking for fun golf at a great rate, save 15% when you prepay for your golf. Visit metcalfegolf.com to book or to purchase. All right. Now let's get to the front 9.
All right. Let's get to it. Yes.
Gord Percy.
Yeah. Gord, I met 30 plus years ago. Was a fine, outstanding, junior player out at the Rivendell Golf Club. He was the oldest of 3 brothers. His other brother, Joe, he used to actually work for me in the golf store.
I remember. Yeah, Joe's diet consisted of a coffee. About 8 coffees a day and no food.
But that's how he met his wife across the street at the coffee shop.
Well, then it's worth it. Cheers, Joe.
There you go. And then their other brother, Steve, was a PGA professional for a while as well. But Gord was an outstanding player. Yes, he shot 60. I believe he ended up losing a playoff, believe it or not. It was a match against one of the members. But you know what, Gord has gone on. He graduated from Queens and then went back to school as well to the PGM program at Humber College, and then has made himself a really solid, well-respected career in golf, and at numerous clubs teaching. He's just a very considerate person, a very intelligent person, and I'm biased because I've known him for this long, but he's been very forward as well about volunteering to make things better for his fellow PGA professionals, whether that be on the board here in the PGA of Ottawa zone, and then onto the national board, and then now he's become the president of the PGA of Canada, a term that he'll serve. It's just there's nobody who doesn't respect Gord. I mean, he's, like I said, he's a very thoughtful person. They've got a lot of things that they want to be better for the PGA of Canada, for their members, and how they impact the community, the golf community as well. And Gord, who's now the general manager at the Smith Falls Golf and Country Club, they're proud of him there. His family's proud of him, which was neat to see as well. His kids, Paige and Ethan, mean everything to him, and Paige wrote the introduction for him.
Nice.
For the PGA of Canada article on him. And yeah, we just congratulate Gord. Obviously, he's been a columnist with us over the years. Provided instruction,
many
columns.
tips, many instructions.
Yeah. So just really good to see, and he's going to be a fine president.
That's awesome. I know. I've known Gord a long time as well, and have had nothing but really positive conversations, discussions with Gord. And you're right, very smart, quiet, but very smart guy, and hits a 1 iron longer and straighter than most people I know.
I've got a funny Gord story I should mention.
Okay.
I think you might be familiar with this, but back in the day at the retail location that I had, I can remember he bought a King Cobra driver, and this is of course when it was just came out. Tiger was using it, steel shaft, whatever the case may be, and he buys this driver, loves the shape of it. And then I think he was playing for the Queen's golf team at the time, and then comes back a few days later, says, I don't know what's wrong with this driver. I just can't hit it very well. It's just not performing for me at all. So of course it's a 9-degree driver or whatever. And so we bring it up, put it in the loft lie machine or whatever. I think it had 3.5 or 4 degrees of loft on it. It was just a manufacturing defect or whatever. Yeah. So, it fit perfectly with the fact that he couldn't launch this thing in the air. Of course he couldn't. It was basically the loft of a putter. So anyways, we took care of that, but I still remember that distinctly, 30 years later.
Yeah. Well, if it had been, a lesser golfer coming in and saying that,
right, exactly.
The story would have a lot less legs to it. But coming from Gord, the fact that the guy could hit a 1 iron 250 yards, it's anyways, congratulations to Gord. Great election to the PGA of Canada as president. For them, he's going to do great things for them for sure.
100%.
Get some stuff done. Down your neck of the woods there, the Loyalist Showca Junior Showcase, which has been going on for quite some time now. Amazing junior golf tournament, especially as very competitive, but especially as an introductory golf tournament for young golfers because of the way they do the divisions and the way they have walking scorers and spotters and chaperones, especially for the younger ones. But that happened this past weekend, and it was a good weekend for sure.
Yeah, it was good. I managed to pop out for a few hours, which was fantastic. And like you say, this event has grown, and they have all sorts of different age groups. It was very interesting this year because the Ontario Women's Amateur is slated to take place at Loyalist later this summer. So that brought out some higher quality players at the top level, national team and Team Ontario players. And then all of a sudden, all the way down, to the little ones, as you said, walking scores. And it's neat to see the walking scores that are out there. And in fact, one of the groups of the girls that was out there, and they had no idea, but their walking score was a lady, Patricia Dwyer, Trish Dwyer, who is a member of the Canadian Curling Hall of Fame. And, she's an amazing lady, and it was neat that she's just out there volunteering, helping these kids along, said it was a great time. And it made me giggle because I was listening to these kids in the scoring tent afterwards talking about their scores and what was good and what was bad. And it was fun to see. And, although there were winners, I don't think that was the important part more than anything.
Not with this tournament.
No, not really. And it's a twofold tournament now as well. Not only is it the Loyalist Junior Showcase, which is supported by Ping, which is great. It is also now part of the Road to TPC Toronto, which is a series that's backed by Cobra Puma Golf, and then these kids basically earn an opportunity to move on and play a finale at TPC Toronto up in Caledon, Ontario later in the year, and that's just for the junior age players. So it adds another level to the tournament. Jeff James and Austin James just did a great job out there. Really well organized. Saw Brad Parkins out there as well, helping out, doing things, and yeah, it's just really well organized. Great comments from the parents. Perfect weather. Good time as well for the players to get some of their first competitive reps in for the year, but fun event, and it was great to kind of be out there for the weekend.
It's interesting. I know we got a lot to get through, so we don't want to
sure
dig too deep, but my first and only experience with the Loyalist Junior Showcase was quite a few years ago now. I'm thinking probably 5 years ago now with Brandon, maybe even 6 years ago with Brandon, when he played his first tournament. And one of the things that really got my attention, because he was in the younger group, good golfers in the younger group, but the one thing that we had gotten a ton of rain on the second second day.
That was the year where the rough was super
yes high. It was they couldn't cut it. It was super sick. So what they allowed the younger kids to do was, when their ball was in the rough, they allowed them to prop it up, to kind of move it around a little bit, so that it wasn't, because otherwise you're going to have a bunch of 8-year-old and 9-year-old kids trying to hack the ball out of 6-inch rough.
That's no fun.
They're just going to keep hitting it in and hitting it in and hitting in. So they allowed everybody up to certain age groups do that. And as long as it's the same for everybody in the field, even though I know it's a rules violation, that's one of the things that stuck out in my mind. Right. You think it was Monday.
Words, they're tough.
It stuck out in my mind was the fact that the attention to catering to the kids and making the experience enjoyable for them. And that was the thing. Now, I know other tournaments do that, so don't think that we're saying the Loyalist Junior Showcase is the only junior tournament that does this, but it's just one of those events that we're so familiar with, and we know the positive feedback that we always hear from that event. And then myself, having experienced it with a young child for once, it's awesome event. Now,
yes, sir.
Let's talk a little Hall of Fame. Last year, the OVGA launched the inaugural OVGA Hall of Fame. And there were a number of inductions into that Hall of Fame. And of course, now this is something that we're going to get to talk about every year. And, while we have already announced all
the inductees for 2022.
All the inductees for 2022. We wanted to draw attention to two inductees in particular from Carlton Golf and Yacht Club, Bonnie Wolf and Graham Gunn.
So on the weekend, our Joe McLean was out at Carlton Golf and Yacht Club, and they recognized Bonnie, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and Graham Gunn, who was spent some time as a head professional at the club from 1997 to 2006. So they held a ceremony for them there to recognize that, and Drew Lefebvre from the Hall of Fame co-chair and the OVGA president was there, as well as other Hall of Fame committee members, such as Ross Hukin. And then, Bonnie's spouse, Sue Hardman, received a certificate for Bonnie. Obviously an emotional event. And, everybody had a few stories about Bonnie and about Graham as well. And it was just nice to see. And it's nice to see that the clubs are recognizing that their players are going into this Hall of Fame and the importance of it. And it's just going to build. And I think we mentioned that previously, with the list of inductees. There's so many people that have been influential in the last century and beyond. In Ottawa and in the Ottawa Valley. And it's great to see these people recognized and the clubs getting involved as well and having ceremonies like this for them.
I think it's important to note for people that are watching or listening this to us right now that there are literally there's hundreds of people that have had their fingers on the pulse of golf in the region for quite a while. And you'll hear names being inducted, and maybe there's somebody that didn't get inducted this time around, and given that this
You
is
can
something
nominate
very
them.
new, yeah, like, I mean, it's going to take a while to
course,
really
yeah.
build, because you can't put everybody in all at once.
No.
And these things take time to build, and it's going to be years and years, before really they catch up to everybody that should get recognized. And they have a criteria that they're following, and lots of people fall into that criteria, whether it's in the players category or in the builders category. But the names that I'm seeing so far, especially the inaugural class last year, and then this class this year, the names that I've seen have well deserving of their the accolade, and it's going to be fun to watch as the years progress, who does get inducted, and to be able to, doing what we do, being able to talk about talk about the inductees the way we're able to, and share those ceremonies with them. So
for us, I mean, we know a lot of these names, and it's just nice to see them getting the recognition, and they might not be known to the average golfer, and when they discover what special people they are and how they impacted golf, and they made it better for the people that are playing the golf now, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, no question. Now, staying sort of with the association golf, and kind of the Play Junior Golf Tour kicks off this coming weekend.
It does.
Kicks off on Flagstick Open weekend, but we'll come back to Flagstick Open. But it kicks off this weekend with the Humber College PGM Spring Open, and it's being held at Rideau-View this year.
It is, and it's the start of an exciting season that will conclude in August at Cataraqui. But juniors are eager to get out and play, as we've mentioned already with the Loyalist Junior Showcase. But great to have our friends at the Play Junior Golf Tour getting their year going, and at a fantastic venue as well, and certainly going to be well attended, well subscribed. A lot of young golfers obviously want to get out and play Rideau-View, which is a premium private club in our region, have that opportunity to play there, and kudos to the golf courses that are really encouraging junior golfers,
very much
and
so.
welcoming junior golfers, because we know it's very difficult. There's a lot of demands on the golf courses right now, as we've documented very much in this podcast. So for clubs like Rideau-View to make that commitment, and others as they fill out the schedule for the year here, congratulations to them. And we look forward to providing some coverage to that, and good luck to all the kids this weekend.
Yeah, and Chris, I know you're listening. Or maybe you're watching. You will get sleep sometime around September. I'm sorry. Maybe. It has begun, and you're going to be a busy guy for a few months. But that's awesome. Love the fact that we're able to come be a media partner and a sponsor with the Play Junior Golf Tour, and that we'll be talking about Play Junior Golf Tour events all summer long, right leading into the finale. So kick it off. Let's get it going.
So we'll have results of that next week. We'll share that next week on the Flagstick Podcast.
Awesome. Now this person I saw this on the list of topics, and I kind of, when I first read it, I'm like, what? Why? But I get, okay. A lot of people are aware. Derek Mcdonald, who is the head teaching professional at Royal Ottawa, good friend of ours, friend of the podcast. Say that. His wife, Jenny, is a well-known radio personality on the new Hot 89.9, and she is like a golf nut. Like, like she is big. And of course, this is how they met, right?
And I think she loves golf more than Derek.
I'm beginning to wonder. I'm definitely beginning to wonder, because I mean, she just got her second. I think she got her second hole in one. Three. Seriously?
Yeah, I know.
3. Come on. Either I'm not good enough, or I don't play enough golf.
Yeah, that's it.
Or Derek's a good teacher, or Jenny's just a good golfer because she doesn't listen to Derek's teaching. Maybe, I don't know. Ouch. That can't be it. Sorry, Derek. Jenny being a very avid golfer,
Yeah.
she is now become the ambassador for the OVGA Girls Golf League that we talked about on this podcast a week ago. Tell us about that, Scott, because I mean, it's really good to see.
Yeah, it is. It's just fresh. This was just announced yesterday, but Jenny obviously spent a fair amount of time at the Marshes when Derek was the head professional there, and that's going to be the location for this golf league. And she's an avid player. She's obviously an advocate for junior girls and a lot of causes and things as well. She hopes to be out there as many Sundays as possible to encourage the girls. And she's just going to provide a nice voice. She obviously, as you mentioned, has a strong following already. Popular person in the job that she does. Very entertaining. Very engaging.
She's so funny.
Person.
She's such a funny person.
Yeah, personally, obviously, as a friend, I just know how much she loves this game, and I think this is something she's looked forward to doing something active like this, and it's just a perfect fit. And I think it's great for the Ottawa Valley Golf Association to recognize that a person like her can bring a lot of value to this league.
No question.
To help out and encourage girls to be out there, probably even some of the parents that will obviously listen to the station or whatever, and they're like, hey, this is this person. So great to see, and certainly we can always use more advocates in this game, in any possible level, and especially at this level, which is people that are just coming to the game, starting to play game at a competitive level, or just at a casual level, and it's important. So it's good to see for sure.
I mean, if you could have picked when they started this, if you could have just written a description of the type of person that would be ideally suited to spend Sunday afternoons with some young junior girl golfers, that would be fun to be around, and put the sort of the entertainment side of golf in front of the young girls to show them just how much fun golf could be. Her name would have popped to the top of my list in a heartbeat. For sure. I mean, she is so fun. And I mean, I listen to them on the radio a lot. I mean, I listen to the Hot 89.9 quite a bit, and a little bit of country music as well. But what a perfect person to have for that. Okay. I want to get to the Flagstick Open, but you know what, Scott, we're going to push that into the latter half of the back nine and talk about it just before we close off the show. We got to take a quick little break here and get a little message from our presenting sponsor, Taylormade Golf Canada. So when we come back, though, we're going to talk about our favorite golf courses and what makes them our favorite golf courses. We're going to stop off at the lesson tee with Kevin Haime and learn a little bit more about our starting position, and we'll dive into a little bit of product watch. We're not going to tell you what yet. It's going to be fun. Don't go away. We're going to be right back.
Over the past 40 years, you've inspired us to make a lot of great drivers. All great, but all eventually reach their limit. But while we were making all these drivers for the present, we were also hard at work making the next generation of driver. Because where titanium ends, carbon begins.
All right, we are back and ready to dive in to the back nine, brought to you by our good friends at Golf Sim Gurus. Work on your game all year round in the privacy of your own home. Custom golf simulators are built to your specs and to fit your budget. Visit golfsimgurus.ca to learn more. All right, Scott, this was your topic. This was your idea. It's always interesting on Sunday evening when we sort of are finishing up show prep and getting ready for recording. I look through the list sort of thing and this is an interesting topic. I like it. So let's get to it. We're talking about what our favorite golf courses, or maybe maybe favorite is not because I don't want to get into trouble here because
I think favorite's fine. Best is the bad one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stay away from best or top 10.
Yeah.
The top 10 reasons why you shouldn't do a top 10 list of golf courses when you're in the golf industry. I think that's okay. That's the next topic.
Sure.
The top 10 reasons not to do a top 10 list of golf courses when you're in the golf industry. But this one's okay. Favorite. All right. We said sort of maybe pick 3 of all time,
but
God, I mean,
that's hard.
I started making a list and I had to stop because there are courses locally, there are courses within the province, there are courses, within the country, and there are courses across the globe.
Yep.
Because I mean, you've traveled a little bit more than I have. I've had an opportunity to play, I've traveled enough and to play enough golf courses that I do have some favorites. You might find when I start talking about some of the courses that I like, though, you might find a little bit of a trend or in the types of golf courses that do appeal to me.
Okay.
I think you could probably see, because you've already seen the list, that there's sort of a style of golf course that I really like. And
right. And we should say, I mean, again, as we mentioned, this is not about best.
No,
this is about
not at all
things that appeal to you personally and why a golf course is, kind of interesting. And maybe we should define that a little bit, in talking about, what makes a golf course a favorite. I mean, there's an emotional attachment that is there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know lots of people that, maybe it's the first course they played on, or maybe it's a special memory that happened at that particular place. This is not about, it's, the grass is this short, and you know what I mean? And it's got this many bunkers and it's got this and this.
Yeah.
This is totally subjective. Totally
and
subjective.
And very personal. So, I mean, there's my list is, I mean, I can look and I see that I
think there's one crossover.
There's one. I was going to put there's 2, but I didn't. Okay. I already had enough on the list, so I didn't put the second one. And darn well which one on the list, because there's only one other one on your list that I've played as well. So
right.
So I'm going to start things off because by a fairly large margin, I would say that this golf course was, and was my favorite golf course to have played for a number of reasons.
Of course.
And that was North Berwick in Scotland.
Yeah.
So why is North Berwick in Scotland at the top of my list?
And it's not just because it's revered for architecture, as far as certain, Brits golf course, Brits hole, Redan design, although Redan might come into your reasoning as far as why you like this. But, for people that are not familiar with North Berwick, it's located in a very golf rich area of Scotland, east of Edinburgh, and in the East Lothian region. Highly revered. It's hosted Open Championship qualifiers. It'll never host probably an Open Championship.
No,
it's not designed for that, but there's some fun features about it, and beyond the fact that you had to play with me there when I had massive strep throat and was half dead.
How I didn't get strep throat on that trip is beyond me.
But I mean, why does that golf course stand out?
Okay. So there's a number of reasons. I'm not going to say there's 2 or 3. There's a number of reasons, but I will mention a few. The first reason that it stands out to me is number one is that it's a true links golf course. And that, by definition, I'm not going to get into by definition what the definition of a links golf course is, but being where it was, the setting, you're basically playing right along. I mean, it's crazy. The turf that you're playing on. And I bring up the turf only because the night before we were to play our match, we were staying We were staying on property.
Yeah.
And
the Marine Hotel.
The Marine Hotel, which is a gorgeous, just gorgeous, beautiful old hotel.
Yeah.
We had two of the most massive friggin' rooms for single person to stay in.
Yeah.
We weren't sharing rooms there. We had these huge rooms. They're all creaking, and it was just amazing.
And they were creaking a lot because the wind was rattling
the wind
hard the night
was
before.
blowing like crazy. It was pouring rain sideways. We're literally in the room that night thinking there is no way that we're playing golf tomorrow. Like, it's not possible. It's raining so hard. And we get up the next morning, we have breakfast, head out to the golf course, and literally that place was dry as a bone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not possible. This place was soaked. It was pouring rain.
Yeah.
And it's dry as a bone. And that's the turf.
Yeah.
Where the water drains so well.
Yeah,
and
it's all sandy soil. So
it was amazing. So that was number one. That was one of the reasons why it was my favorite, because I was thinking we weren't going to get to play, and because of the golf course, we were able to play. The layout of the golf course I really enjoyed a lot. I really do like link style golf, and you'll see that from a number of the courses on my list. And the match was the other big reason. We were fortunate enough to have a 2-person, or I guess what do you call it?
It's a 4-ball.
Yeah, 4-ball.
Yeah.
Between you and myself.
Yeah, and we had Chris Spencer, who was at that point the manager of the facility. He was the secretary at North Berwick. He's since moved on. And Alan Minto. Who's become a friend, who's a 2-time world hickory champion.
Right.
And it was Scotland versus Canada in an epic match, and their home turf. And they'd obviously played it. And we did okay.
And it came down to closing the match out on what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Redan.
The 15th hole. Yeah.
And I hit, we both hit like crazy good shots. I think we both hit it to like 5 feet.
I think I was a little outside you, and then I missed, and then you hold it for the win.
And that was the match. It was just awesome. So for me, a lot of those things, because of the memory of that match, who we played with, how the match went, the feeling of not thinking we're going to be able to play, and then realizing just what playing golf in Scotland, not just Scotland, but in Scotland for us meant, as far as, the turf and drying the course out, the setting for the golf course, right along the beach there. And it was just, and staying in that hotel, like, it was just, everything sort of really kind of pulled together and made it a very memorable golf day. And that's why it's at the top of my list.
Obviously, I'll reiterate exactly everything that you said there. I've been fortunate to be back there, and I didn't play when I went back a few years later, but went for a walk, and the setting's great. As you mentioned, Lynx Land is basically land that joins the sea and the town. It's a strip of sand kind of in between where the course is played. This is a golf course, much like the old course at St. Andrews. Same thing. It plays back into town. It's surrounded by the town. In fact, the parking lot is so tight to the 18th hole that insurance is included in your green fee to cover your windshield or whatever damage could happen to the car that's parked right along there. But you can literally walk from the clubhouse right into a pub a few feet away, pretty much. A magnificent setting. Obviously, looking out, Bass Rock out there. A lot of great other golf courses. I think there's 22 or so in East Lothian. Just a quirky golf course as well. It's not your standard championship layout. Walls come into play. The pit, the 13th hole. If you get it in a situation too close to the wall, you might have to chip down and play through the gate of the wall. You have to cross several other walls, and the walls are there because this golf course grew over time and basically grabbed other pieces of property in order to make the layout, and they left the natural walls that were there. They also have a kids course that was there. Katrina Matthew, a lot of people will be familiar with as far as a famous LPGA Tour player, Solheim Cup captain. She grew up there playing that kids course. It's just a special spot.
Yeah.
And I know some people that we know are actually over there right now. I think they played yesterday. But Mike Paquette from Brockville and a gang from Brockville are over there, and they played. It'll be interesting to hear their comments as well. But it's continued to be number one on my list just because it's such a fun place to play. Magnificent setting, and as you said, it's the extra memories as well for the circumstances that we played it under, and we'll be able to tell that story forever as far as completing a match on the Redan, the famed Redan that has been copied. That green design has been copied around the world against two esteemed gentlemen from Scotland. So it made for quite a way to cap a trip for us.
You literally cannot make this stuff up, people.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, we've been on so many road trips, and that one we won't call it a road trip because it really was more of a call it a golf trip, road trip,
still
whatever.
A golf trip.
Looking forward to the opportunity possibly to maybe this fall we can do one. Maybe we wait another year. I'm not just 100% sure yet, but maybe we'll see. So what else you got on your list, Scott?
I'm going to go overseas for another one as well before we dip back into North America. I had the pleasure a few years ago, just prior to the Open Championship at Portrush, to play Royal Portrush.
Very nice.
And Royal Portrush, what I like about it, although we had played Royal County Down, which is undoubtedly, noted by many as the #1 ranked golf course in the world. It's a hard golf course.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like, or I think about a golf course when, I think about it from a favorite standpoint is, would I want to play it every day?
Yep.
And Royal County Down, while it's a challenge and I love as a good player to test myself, and I would like to play it all the time, it could be hard to play that all the time. So Portrush is just a very balanced golf course. It doesn't really have a bad hole. Again, kind of on the cliff tops as you're playing there, just a beautiful setting. And all the players who played the Open Championship there and will return as well to have the Open Championship there, they just realize what an amazing property it is. So again, circumstances, played it with some good people. We had fine weather, probably as good a weather as you could possibly have in northern Ireland at the end of April, start of May. Certainly on that same trip, we had some dirty weather trying to play some other golf courses but Portrush is definitely something that's certainly special. And again, it's not because it's hosted an Open Championship. It's not because it's world acclaimed. It's just the setting, the environment, the memory of playing there. Just how fun it is. It's a bouncy golf course. You can play a lot of different holes, a lot of different ways. The golf course doesn't define how you play it. You get to find your way around that golf course, and that's what's made it quite fun.
Cool. Well, uniqueness to a golf course, and for me, a lot of what makes a golf course a favorite for me is how memorable it is. Whether or not I want to play it every day or not, that plays a factor in it for sure. Right. But it for me, does it stand out to me as something that, because I played a lot of golf and I played a lot of golf courses. I can't. I don't remember every. No, right. I know you can. But I can't recall every golf course, every hole on every golf course that I played. I can't recall things that really stood out on a lot of the golf courses that I played years later. One golf course that we played on one of our trips down south was a Michael Strant's design, Tobacco Road. And
just north of Pinehurst.
Now we were down there in doing a Pinehurst Aberdeen trip. And this was one of the sort of off Pinehurst property sojourns that we did. There were a few different golf courses that we played off property when we were down doing the Pinehurst stuff, and this one just blew my mind. And it's not the only Strands course I've ever played.
Right.
So it's not surprising that it blew my mind, because the other courses blew my mind as well. So, but this one really, I swear that the first thing that I said after we played it was, or as we got sort of into the round, was it looked like somebody just dropped a bunch of bombs on this, on this property, and wherever the craters were, and wherever the mounds were, and they just built the golf course around it. It put a green in behind it. Like it was insane. Like we said, I've never really played a golf course. I've played lots of golf courses using yardage books. I've never played a golf course that required me to use the yardage book to play the golf course. Like, and I mean, and what I mean by that is, like, you could stand out in a fairway and go, okay, well, it's 153 from this sprinkler, but I can literally see the green right there. I could laser it. With, no, a laser finder is not going to help you at Tobacco Road.
You need more information than that.
You need a lot more information, because some of the tees, the carries, the angles that you're playing it at, the fact that some of the landing spots for your tee shots were in fairways that were hidden behind mounds. And it's just, there's sand everywhere, like waste areas everywhere. And they're not just these are mammoth waste areas. And I think, so for me, it played okay there. I didn't, it was not a bad round of golf by any means. And maybe because I played it by the yardage book, that's kind of, I went with the yardages that I had and just played to certain points throughout the golf course the whole round. But that one sticks out in my mind a lot as one of my favorites, just because of the fact that it was so unique and so different and so memorable.
I mean, there's a lot of art forms there. Mike Strands obviously was a bit of an artist, and did 9 golf courses in his lifetime. And I think about, we played Royal New Kent, for an example, True Blue, Caledonia Golf and Fish Club, which is one of my favorites, which probably should have been on the list here,
I was gonna say,
as well. But he was really an artist, and using the landforms to kind of match up to those artistic visions in his mind, and creating things that you might only see on paper and not expect to ever see in real life. And that's what he managed to do at Tobacco Road. And it's obviously very distinct as far as that opening tee shot. It's got 2 huge mounds that you have to play your tee shot down between, sort of like goalposts, really, more than anything, and that kind of gets you started. Tee markers that are miniature farming implements, respective of kind of what the property used to be a little bit. It turned into a little bit of a quarry that they used as well, and they've left even some of the artifacts of that aspect there around. So it's very appealing from an eye standpoint visually, and I think that's definitely why it jumps out. And like you said, it's just such a distinctive landforms that it's something that's going to stand out for you, that you're going to remember for a long time.
And from a standpoint of because I'm a marketing person, graphic person, marketing person, first and foremost. And the thing about Tobacco Road that also caught my attention was when you talked about the tee markers. And this is something that, I'm not too sure how many golf course operators, owners are listening or watching this podcast. And I'm sure that many of them have heard me say this on numerous meetings that we've had. But one of the most important things that you as a golf course can do is identify what makes you unique. What is your unique point? What is your thing? And then use that as a tool for marketing your facility. Tobacco Road, from the moment you get to the property to the moment you go in and pay your green fee, get a snack, go to the driving range, everything about that experience is built on by what you said. It was a tobacco farm, and the cultivator tees and the plow, like all of that stuff on the tees, the burlap bags that they used, for the range balls, the little
Mhm.
bags that they use for the range balls instead of baskets, or instead
Yeah.
of just the bags that you can buy at any
Yeah, it's
golf.
it's all themed, right?
Yeah, inside the clubhouse, all the whole wood floor, like plank
Yeah.
wood floor. We're not talking about finished
No, it looks like
hardwood.
it basically looks like a big log cabin. more than anything.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or so all of that kind of stuff, the minimalist nature of the
Mhm.
facility from start to finish.
Yeah.
That's what, and the logo that they use to sell the play. It's not this god awful ugly looking. This is what I want my golf course logo to look like. It's what when I wrote an article about this a while ago, and now I'm getting off topic here, but I wrote an article about would you wear the shirt,
Mhm.
and it was a marketing, and that was kind of like one of those things. I mean, I bought a shirt. I don't buy a lot of shirts at a lot of the golf courses where we played, but the logo was killer.
Mhm.
I would wear that shirt with that logo on it because it didn't feel like I was advertising for the golf course I was playing.
Right.
The
Yeah.
logo was so unique and so
Yeah.
different
Should
that I
put the
felt like it was
logo
just,
right in here. We'll probably put a picture of that logo just so people can see it. Eh?
yeah. Okay. You know what?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be, as you're listening to this podcast, look to the side of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And there'll be a picture of the logo for Tobacco Road. So that was what made that golf course unique for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There. That's two.
Yeah, we're gonna get so we should, you know what, we can probably do a part 2 of this, and just to keep it compact.
Okay.
Otherwise we're gonna end up going for weeks on
Yeah,
this and golf courses. So why don't I give a third, and again, it's not 1, 2, 3 here for me. This is ones that stand out. This is some of the ones, because obviously we can get to many. I'm gonna mention Winter Park is my third.
Oh yes,
one.
okay.
And I think it's something you would enjoy. It's a golf course that is just north of Orlando. Was originally a 36-hole private club years and years ago. Progressively became less and less of a golf course, to the point that it was a 9-hole municipally owned golf course with basically crappy facilities. The design was terrible and nobody really wanted to play it. And what was neat for them was that the city, and there's a number of stories about it, and we've posted many. So if you want to look on flagstick.com, you'll see some stories referencing it, because I've been back there a couple times to play. The town basically had an advocate in their mayor and their council. They recognized it as a great asset within their community. Brought in a couple of great designers, Riley Johns and Keith Rebb, to put the money into the golf course, not just to put the money into a design fee. And these guys really turned this into for lack of a better term, a mecca of sorts for a lot of players to go. It's not long. It's got some really interesting greens. It's a very social place where, I've had people running through the golf course while you're there. I've played in 11somes with a dog on this golf course.
11somes.
Like Matt Janella, many people be familiar with him from the Golf Channel, now the Fire Pit Collective. Was a big advocate, lived on the property before he moved out west. Ran a skins game there on the Friday. I played in the skins game a couple times. It's just a neat community place, low cost, and I don't know how to describe the vibe. I mean, there's roads that cross all over the place. There's trains going by. It's just integrated in the community, and it feels very much like what you feel in Scotland, at the Old Course or North Berwick, of, the towns surrounding it, and seeing the value of it, not just as a golf course, but as a public space. And people generally, they'll finish 9, they'll leave their clubs there. They'll sit by the fire pit and have a beverage. They'll walk into town and have lunch, which is kind of right there. They'll walk back, play another 9, whatever, and it's really a lot of fun and just a really cool culture, and something that's not country club of any kind, but it still has nice amenities, and it's a challenging little golf course. And every time for the last bunch of years after I played it the first time, I've been back and couldn't get there fast enough during PGA show week, when they always make time to go there. And it's been interesting just to go back and play. And, if people have a chance to go play WP9 Winter Park, definitely they should.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely one that loves 9-hole golf courses.
As we talked about last week.
Yeah, that's not one that's that I've played. It's definitely
You
one
will.
that I
We'll get
want to play.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
Why don't you give us one more?
One more? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Gosh, I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't have to be your favorite. Just mention one more.
Okay, here's a side note favorite.
Back.
Here's a side note favorite for me.
Sure.
This is going very local.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to call it back to my hometown.
Sure.
I grew up in Brockville, Ontario.
Yep.
And I didn't really start playing golf until after we moved from Brockville to Kingston, and I was about 17 years old. But I did play my first round of golf, the very first round of golf I ever played. I played at Brockville Highlands.
Yeah.
The former,
unfortunately,
the former Brockville Highlands. Now, why is this on my list of favorites? Because Brockville Highlands is by no means is it.
It's not Augusta National.
No, we're not talking about a $150 a round golf course. We're not talking about a, 4-floor clubhouse with a pool and we're talking about as basic as it gets. Old house, renovated, addition built. But
cook your chuck wagon in the microwave.
Exactly. It was the combined counter where you paid your green fees and got your hot dog and your chips right next to it.
Yeah.
The pro shop was on the side wall of the place where you sat down to eat your lunch. But the people, number one, the Dunn family, that was a huge part of it for me. Because years later, after I'd played it as a kid, for the very first time, years later, being in this business and then going back there with them as a client and really getting to know the family and spending numerous times just going down on delivery of magazines and sitting there and having those conversations with Charlie Guy and Carol and Kathy and Gary and that for me was a huge component of this. Now the golf course, extremely unique golf course,
golf course, narrow golf course,
narrow, very narrow. There's definitely, aside from maybe 2 holes on the whole golf course where a driver sprayed anywhere left or right would be safe. Holes were not overly long, but they didn't need to be because they were so narrow. Just even trying to hit a 7-iron off some of those tees just to put it in position on a 310-yard hole was hard. So the golf course had a very unique feel to it, a unique layout to it, just a really fun golf course to play. We played numerous tournaments, the charity tournament down there that we played every year. We're always a part of that, and it was awesome to be a part of that. And
they're part of the community, right?
Yeah, very much
raised
so.
A lot of money for the community, and they provided that incubator for people to go on to other places. And as you mentioned for yourself, you get a start there, but we run into people all the time now, that wax romantic about their days there and their time there, and they may have gone on to be a member at a country club or other cities and other things, but it's that nostalgia that makes a golf course really, really something that appeals to a lot of us, that we have the good memories about them. And
absolutely,
that's an important feature as well. And
I had closure with that golf course, and maybe some people didn't have that when it was closing. We knew it was closing, was shutting down. And my youngest son Brandon, who's an avid golfer, I wanted him to play the golf course. I wanted him to experience the course that I first played on, the very first course I played on. So we drove down to play it, and that weekend it was raining, and we knew it was raining, and I couldn't get a hold of the Carol or Kathy to see if they were open. So we drove down, and then we got there, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's closed. So just luckily, Carol and her husband Gary were coming back from breakfast, and they were pulling into the house. They lived next door, and I kind of pulled around and said, "Look, is there any chance that we can just go out and play around a golf?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely. Leave your car here though, because we don't want everybody to think it's open."
Right. Yeah.
So we played. Brandon and I played.
That's cool.
And that was just Boom. And that's another reason why it's on this, because we talk about memories and things of being memorable. That's another reason why it's on the list, because I got to experience that with my youngest son.
Yep.
I got to experience it when I was younger. I got to experience all those charity golf tournaments there and all those memories. So, it's got to be on my list.
Sometimes it's not about the architecture. It's not about the design. It's not about the amenities. There's a lot more to it. And, that's why I think too, we'll have other parts to the same thing, because I know our list could be endless here. We don't want it to be a 3-hour podcast for people. And again, our memories are our memories, and, maybe don't mean as much to other people, but there's other golf courses I think that we can go through and highlight on the show in future episodes. And I think we can sort of add to this and layers and layers, and maybe introduce some people to some golf courses as well, which
100%. Okay, let's leave it there for now. All right. Let's agree to come back to it, because I know there's more on our list, and I think it's a good topic. And maybe we can even ask at this time, before we take a quick break, maybe we can ask our viewers or our listeners to email us. Either email me at jbotter@flagstick.com, or email Scott at scottmac, SCOT, SCOTMAC @flagstick.com. Send us your favorites and why they're your favorite. And maybe we'll share those on the podcast, along with a few more of our own. Okay, so we're going to close that off there, and we've got to take a quick break again. Yep. But that's okay. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to jump out to the lesson tee, and Kevin Haime's going to tell us a little bit about improving our starting position. We'll do that when we come back, and we'll also talk product watch. Don't go away. We're coming right back.
Introducing the all-new Spyder GT. With Pure Roll 2 to improve topspin and a fluted shaft to enhance feel. No matter how you look at it, it's stability from every angle. Only from Taylormade.
All right, and we're back, and it is time for us to head out to the lesson tee, brought to you by Kevin Haime Golf School. It's always the right time to play better, whether you need private lessons, a better short game, some putting help, or even a custom club fitting. Visit kevinhaime.com. Visit kevinhaime.com. And remember that better golf is a lot more fun. Now, this week, Kevin is going to give us some help with our starting position. So let's check this out.
Okay, golfers, time for a quick tip in our 3D motion capture studio. Jake, what are we working on today? Tell everybody.
We're working on alignment.
Ooh, we're working hard.
And making sure that you develop a good pre-shot routine to get proper setup at impact, which is harder than you think.
Yeah, there we go. I look pretty good there from that above view, but it is not easy or intuitive to line up perfectly over a golf ball. You got to give the pros a break on TV. They're trying to get themselves set up, their bodies in the right position to swing properly, right? It takes a little work.
You can see here, though, with a little paying attention and knowing what it feels like in your body because of the effort, you're in a great position to hit a good golf shot now.
Yeah, pre-shot routine's important. Get in front of a mirror, work on your knee alignment, your hip alignment, your chest alignment, your arm alignment, your shoulder alignment. Get yourself set up and comfortable over the ball so you can make a better swing. That's your quick tip for today.
Hey, well, I mean, the starting position, Scott, and as a teaching professional, as a PGA of Canada teaching professional, you more than a gajillion times with your students, I'm sure, work on their starting position. But I guess it goes without saying that you can't underestimate the importance of being in the right place to begin the whole process. Because if you're not in the right place to begin the whole process, it's kind of hard to initiate the rest of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and as Kevin points out there with Jake in using gears, it's important to be deliberate about what you're doing. It's important to have intention about what you're doing, whatever is right for you as far as your startup position. But definitely, as he says, it's if you want some level of consistency, you've got to incorporate that into your own game. So don't just be sloppy about it and just set up and whack the ball. If you've got intentions of what you're doing, you have to be careful about that. And so good tip there.
Beautiful. Okay. Moving along, we're going to this weekend coming. This upcoming weekend is the Flagstick Open return to its original Victoria Day long weekend position, which we're really, really excited about. And the fact that the Flagstick Open is coming up this weekend is kind of the inspiration,
Yes,
if you will, the inspiration behind this week's product watch, brought to you by the good folks at Greensmere Golf and Country Club. Save 40% on all daily green fee rates with Flex Pass for only $425 plus tax. Visit greensmere.com for more information and to purchase your Flex Pass. So the inspiration, every year we do the Flagstick Open, we obviously have to build the registration gift, which the registration gift at the Flagstick Open is kind of like a big deal. It's a big deal for the players. It's a big deal for us. We put a lot of effort into it. A lot of the funds for the event go towards that particular portion of it, because it's important to us to make sure that no matter what position you place in the tournament, that you're coming out of the event knowing that you've gotten an amazing value and for your weekend. So it's coming up with new ideas every year. I mean, there's only so many things that you can do, and
we're 10 years into the Flagstick Open. So
this year we decided that part of that registration gift, aside from a nice Adidas quarter zip pullover, a nice Adidas cap, Adidas belt, a dozen Taylormade TP5 balls, that we were going to provide all the players with a Taylormade Quiver Bag.
Yes, sir.
And which is not just a golf bag. It's different than a golf bag.
Yeah.
And it's unique. And so, Scott, let's talk specifically about the Taylormade Quiver Bag, and then we'll kind of dive into a little bit different further conversation after this. But let's talk about the Quiver Bag first of all. What is so unique about this Quiver Bag?
Yeah, so obviously carry bags have become important for a lot of people who enjoy walking more than anything, and manufacturers have tried to address their needs. And the Quiver Bag from Taylormade this year is it's a more compact bag, still holds all your clubs, weighs about 3 pounds, but it has a new mini stand as well. So if you think about a stand bag, full length, stands all the way up. This is a golf bag that is designed to have a mini stand that flips out, so it keeps your golf bag pretty much off the ground except for the base, but it makes it a little bit more usual or more useful as far as something that you're going to have be lightweight, really quick to kind of get around the golf course with this, what they call a micro stand system. Has a 3-way top, which reduces the weight. Again, you can have a half set in here, but you can have a full set at the same time. Even though it's a compact bag, it does have a good strap system, has 6 total pockets as well, for your garments and valuables. You're obviously not going to carry as much in this as you would in a staff bag or a cart bag, and then also has some padding as far as the hip cushion. So really useful, especially if you like to walk. It's not a pencil bag. It's not so small that it doesn't carry anything, that you can only put a few clubs in here. As I mentioned, you can carry the full set in here, but having that little flip out micro stand just makes it great. And I think all the players are going to really appreciate this at the Flagstick Open this year.
I think it's kind of like the perfect little golf bag for you want to grab some clubs. Yes, you can take your full set, but there's nights where you want to pop over. If you're close to your golf course, you want to pop over and just play a few holes. Maybe you want to just take 4 or 5 clubs and a putter, throw half a dozen balls in the bag and some tees.
Yeah, maybe you're just going to practice.
Yeah, or you're going over to the putting green to chip and putt, and you only need your wedges and your putter, and you don't want to, drag the whole bag over there, especially if you're used to having a cart bag. A lot of people nowadays our carts are more and more popular, as we alluded to back on a very early episode, that carts were more popular, cart bags were more popular. Even the stand bags were getting bigger with more pockets and more dividers, and meant more for the cart, but you could carry it if you needed to.
Right.
This is kind of that. Grab some clubs, go to the driving range, hit 3 or 4 clubs, go home. It's perfect for that, and which is why we chose it as we've done everything. We've done duffel bags. We've done
we did full-size stand bags.
We did a
before.
full stand bag, the Flagstick light bags, which is actually one of the prizes. We did that for everybody one year, and this year we decided, you know what, just do a bag, but let's do something different. And the quiver bag was the choice. So that rounds out the registration gift for this year's Flagstick Open. So there you go, product watch for another episode of Flagstick Podcast. Now, staying on topic of the Flagstick Open, once again, I think just because it is Flagstick Open week, before we close out the show this week, I think we should just kind of get down to a little bit of an update. A lot less cancellations, and we have a wait list. It's there's a fairly extensive wait list, and some people have been on the wait list for quite some time, and I have to apologize. I'm still getting emails from people saying, am I going to get in? Am I going to get in? I don't know. At this point, we have not swapped in that many players. There have not been that many cancellations this year. So in previous years, I easily would have seen 15 to 20 cancellations in the last 2 weeks leading up to the tournament. I have not seen that many cancellations this year. So it's going to be, we're down to, what's today? Today's Tuesday. This podcast is going to be out tomorrow, Wednesday. And the draw will be finished and posted by the time this podcast comes out.
Yep.
And then after that, once the draw comes out, when the draw is out, there generally is a couple of cancellations.
We'll take a few people off the alternate list from there, and emergencies happen, and it's just like on tour, things happen at the last minute and so forth, and we're certainly understanding as far as when that happens. But I've heard from a lot of people looking forward to the weekend, other people sad because maybe they couldn't make it and they had to withdraw, or they just couldn't even enter this year. But obviously it looks like a quality field based on what we've been seeing so far. Tremendous field, especially super competitive for the overall title and for the A's and the strength of the B's as well. And we're looking forward to welcoming them, whether they're coming from Nova Scotia, Northern Ontario, whether their handicap is +4 or 24. It's going to be a good weekend. I mean,
what's exciting is to see now the way that we've always structured the Flagstick Open, in that our A and B division play off the same tees. And that is by design, because generally speaking, our A and B division players are the A division in pretty much every amateur golf tournament as far as the quality of the field. It's so deep. Now, once we get down into C and D, not that anybody in C or D, if they played the same tees, wouldn't have a shot at winning. But I mean, realistically, the level of golfer is
odds are against that.
Yeah. So that's why we do it that we have 3 sets of tees that we run. And it's a hybrid setup that we use. It's not whatever the course's setup is. We change the setup depending on the weather, the wind, how we want the scoring to be, and it changes from day to day. So, anybody from B flight or B division, I like to call them divisions, not flights. B division could easily win this golf tournament. And that's one of the things that makes it so unique, is the depth of this field is, when we do those divisions and I'm cutting off A flight at 0, that's a strong field deep. When your B flight starts at 0.1.
We always get a kick every year when we get people that all of a sudden are in the field and they relate it maybe to certain associations and how they split up their fields, but we'll get a player who's a 1.5 and you're in B flight, and that's just how it is as far as those divisions. But great to see. Some of those players are certainly capable, as you mentioned. We could have players that are maybe they've had a poor streak of late. We had that, as you mentioned, previously Wesley Kwok, who was a player who was struggling for a while, had just did a bunch of work with his coach, and then next thing you know, catches fire and was a B flighter but shot 9 under while the winner shot 11. It is possible. But so people don't have to think of the B flighter as relative to their associations where it's an 8 handicap or a 10 handicap. That's not the case in here.
No.
As you said, these are divisions, not flights. They're basically categories based on us splitting the field. They're not relatable to what you would see in a lot of other amateur tournaments.
It's not predetermined. It's not predetermined what the flight is going to be before people sign up. So that way we divide the field according to the size of the field and where the handicaps. This year it was very specific how we divided the field because doing a crossover of 120 players, we have 60 players per side. Right. And we need to keep them within their flight. In their division. So we have to keep A and B on one side, and we have to keep C and D on the other side so that they cross over within their division. So it was very different how we did it this year, but that's how it goes. Now, we don't know what the weather's going to be like yet. It's going to kind of hit and miss at this point. We're looking like possible clouds, maybe a little bit of precipitation happening on the weekend, but we cross our fingers and hope that whatever they say bad is going to happen does not happen, and that we're able to have 2 nice sunny low wind days. But that might be asking a lot. What we do know is the course is going to be in great shape, and everybody's going to have a good weekend. So here it comes, Flagstick Open this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to getting out to Equinel and being on that tee box and seeing all those players. And as I said, welcome them back on the May long weekend, our traditional time of that tournament.
All right. Well, that's it for us for another episode of Flagstick Podcast. Want to thank our sponsors, as always, Metcalf Golf Club, Golf Sim Gurus, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, Kevin Haime Golf School, and of course, our presenting sponsor, Taylormade Golf Canada. Check out the new Stealth line of equipment at taylormadegolf.ca, and welcome to the carbon wood age. Hopefully you are still continuing to enjoy listening and watching this podcast. Be sure to follow us across all the social media networks, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us, and click the notification bell to make sure that you get every single episode as we drop it. Don't want you to miss a thing. Get over to flagstick.com and you'll find more amazing, interesting golf content published there every single day. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I am Jeff Botter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
And always remember, go for the stick.